I was like, fuck this shit. I'm going to a Bryan Adams concert. I got to throw up on somebody, which is a trick I'd done successfully before. And I got the weekend off.
Did you carry Epicac with you in case you needed to throw up on demand? Or
he had those little suicide bite pills that the CIA had.
No, I brought the first time I did it.
A spy.
The first time I did it, I was I didn't know how what was going to play out, you know, and I threw up.
That's the really thrilling one.
Yeah, that's when I threw up
you
on.
You always remember your first.
Yeah, you always remember the first foreman you throw up on. That was Hoot Looney. That was his name. Hoot Looney.
Looney. No, it wasn't.
Yes,
No,
it
it was not his name.
Yeah, Chad, I missed you last night. I got the Call of Duty. Took it was a good 16 hours until I finally got up on it. But you guys, once again, right when I'm like, hey, Shane, you want me to, I'll get the boys. We'll put you on. I just need a ID number. And then bloonk, bloonk, bloonk. Everyone popped out.
You should have sent me a text. I'd have jumped back on.
I didn't know how long you guys have been going because I got the text late from Joey that you guys are starting early. So
yeah,
I heard Hack Oddity on there and
yeah, we have a good time on
the regular boys.
Shaylee, I enjoyed your old man yells at cloud rant about PlayStation and Call of Duty.
Until I found out you need some kind of fucking account. I mean, everywhere you turn, it's a crossroads of the world with roads everywhere, and each one is entering your username and password again, and some kind of monetization or free trial that will automatically roll into some payment by month unless you secretly remember to fucking remove it before the 7 days are up.
There's a lot of fucking upsells for sure.
Oh my god, it's insane. But we did get on it, and last night Tracy and I were playing Zombieland 2 Double Tap for hours. So
right on.
Can you actually play? Because the few times I've tried to play those games, and admittedly, this was even 15 years ago, but it was mostly just my character walking into a wall and then continually walking into the wall
while looking at the sky.
yeah.
I
didn't have the patience to keep going and learn how to do it. I'm like, fuck this. I
had to learn from these guys. The guy, Fury and Mike and those guys taught me. Just walked it through until I got better at it.
And it is Chad's Twitch stream, so he gets good or it goes away.
Well, that's kind of the way that we sell the Twitch stream. Is that we're the only ones on Twitch not claiming to be good at video games. That's everybody's trying to be the best on Twitch, and we're striving for the bottom.
Erickson, it's like when I get on Call of Duty, I go through like the little primer course right in the beginning, like so up and down. I'm yelling at, just tell me what to do, right? But it's the same thing as you. We're like it would be like putting me if I go online and play a game with other people. It would be like putting me at the front of the start of the Boston Marathon and everyone just clawing me out of the way. Just fucking, why is this guy in the front?
Yeah.
I paid my $9.95 a month. That's why I'm in front.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll look down at the chat in the thing, and it's just people yelling at me in capital letters to reload my weapon.
R2!
Reload! What are you doing? You're walking around with one fucking round in your weapon.
That's a confident killer right there.
Yeah,
one bullet.
Or more focused on the drinking, smoking, and talking part. And the video game is really just a fucking delivery method of all of those things.
Shit. Good afternoon, fellas.
Good afternoon.
Cheers.
Andy.
Uh-oh. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you learned.
Watson. I thought his name was Austin, but Watson is in
Uh-oh.
my year. Fucking asshole. It's a one of those. It's a fucking. I don't know why they would have it. It doesn't come when they call it. It
Neither
takes
do we.
off, runs down. Yeah.
We're all confused right now. Trust me.
Yeah.
Do we try and troubleshoot this?
I think he's too far from his router.
We went over this last week while he was doing what he's doing now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's issues with Andy. We might as well address the issues.
Yeah.
Andy, we brought it's not your birthday, but we brought you to here with all of us because we're really concerned about you. We think that maybe I know. We think that maybe this comes from a place of love. The three of us think that maybe it's time for you to get closer to your wireless router.
Okay, what is a router? That's
it's
like
the thing that your internet emanates from.
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, that's where there's a Jehovah's Witness
emanating.
We thought
so. That's probably why the signal's getting weakened.
Yeah.
They're pulling all your power.
Yeah, they're zooming. There's a bunch of fucking fanatics zooming in.
Oh shit!
Fans.
Oh man, the double whammy.
You're sharing your bandwidth with the fucking Jehovah's.
Yeah.
Who really ought to be able to just use faith in the power of the Lord to communicate. I don't understand why they need to actually be on the internet.
Yeah, it seems like you're leaning on this technology crutch a little too heavy.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that we've had this time slot scheduled for way longer.
Well, yeah, I know. We had it scheduled before the end time started.
What really sucks is that we're broadcasting at the same time, so we're actually competing with them for listeners.
Yeah, I've been knocking on doors.
We're a better lead-in, believe me.
Yeah, but Andy, you're knocking on doors to see if anyone's home so you can sneak in and steal the pills in the medicine cabinet.
No, that's it. That years ago. I'm not a pillhead anymore. Otherwise, I would be doing that. But I got better. I got fixed. I willed myself to not do it anymore.
Well, that's good. Congratulations.
I mean burglary. I still do occasional.
He confused us with nouns.
Yeah.
I'm not currently committing felonies that I'm aware of. Yeah, I don't think so.
And I'm sure the statute of limitations is up on the ones you've committed in the past. So I feel like you're probably in the free and clear right now, dude.
Right. Pretty close. Yeah.
Also, the only people who could have pressed charges have long since died because they didn't have their medication. So.
Well, I was thinking about this one lady that I wronged, and she's probably dead now. Hopefully, I mean, she ain't, bygones be bygones, but
and she gone.
She's gone, and I'm she's it was in 2001, and she's the one who won tickets to go to the NCAA Final Four, or actually my mother-in-law won tickets to go to the Minneapolis to the Final Four, and her and this lady Kathy would trade. They did halftime bingo together, so that was their thing, and then. This was an end of the season thing. Had nothing to do with halftime bingo, but it was 2 tickets to the Final Four, and my mother-in-law won it. And then Kathy, her friend, latched on to half of the prize, and my mother-in-law decided she can't go, so she tells my wife, "I'll give you you can go to the Final Four, but you're going with Kathy." And I started reviewing it, going, "Wait, this ain't right, This, I wasn't there, but this clearly is not a halftime bingo thing. This is a fucking trip to the Final Four, Minneapolis. I was working at Acme a little bit. Not much, but
enough to let that be part of the pitch you're making.
In theory, if I showed up, I could get a feature slot, maybe. Unless
no airfare, no airfare for them.
I got airfare. So as it turned out, Kathy kind of just latched onto the prize, and she was an old broad at the time, and said that, oh yeah, well, I'm going to go out and visit my grandma. I was like, what? And there's no, I did the math. There's no fuck, that's bullshit, so it's like none of my business, but I'm like, no, this is something I'm going to, I'm going to shame Kathy into giving up the other half of the prize, give it, this will be a nice trip for her daughter and her son-in-law to take, not fucking with Kathy Peterson, who, by the way, took up more than one seat. She was a big fat woman, and
was this fat Kathy that we're talking about?
Well, another one.
A different fat Kathy.
That was a girlfriend.
This was with a K.
Oh.
And I done some work for fat Kathy, the older woman, in her yard. So I knew where she lived and everything. That comes in handy later. But so she wouldn't relinquish the fucking prize at all. Like, she's like, no, I'm going out there and gonna go see my grandma. And I was like, lady, I don't think your grandma's alive. I had her phone number, and then she hung up on me. And so we didn't get the prize at all. And Kathy went to the Final Four in my place. I'm sitting on the cushion from it. Kathy Peters. Oh, I said her last name. So she may, if she is alive, bless her heart, she's probably on her big fat final last, diabetic, diabetic feet. Yeah. So she brought back that cushion as an insult, but I was like bummed out. I was like, it ruined the final. And as they always remind me at this time of the year, the greatest game ever played.
I was just looking it up. Is that Duke
Christian
in Kentucky
Laettner.
with Christian Laettner hitting the final
the
turnaround
greatest
jump shot? It's the greatest finish in a college basketball game ever.
Yeah, I could have been there.
And Kathy was probably at the Mall of America at the time.
Kathy Peterson. Ooh,
at least at the snack stand.
Well, and I was just bummed. I couldn't even watch the basketball tournament. I was bummed. And then I went over and you ever hear of casseron? It's something you put down to kill everything. It's like napalm for vegetation.
Casseron.
Yeah, it's a kill. It kills your.
I'm pretty sure napalm is napalm for vegetation, isn't it?
Yeah, well.
I think casseron means Ron's house in Spanish.
Right, yeah.
Casseron, yeah.
Casseron. So I went over and I didn't write anything because I didn't want to be obvious.
Oh,
but I killed her lawn and her ability to have a lawn.
You like insulted the earth in her yard, essentially.
Yeah. Kind of did. And then when it started raining, and that's what you want, once you put down the casserole, you want it to rain because that starts the killing. And then I went home, and that was the first I turned on that game. That was like, it was like, okay, I did something shitty.
So you even did this while she was in the Final Four.
Yeah,
you didn't even wait till later, or this
was the only way I could get over the hump and watch the game. It's like I should be there. This is
Was your wife with her? Did your wife go with her?
No, she didn't want to go.
Took her grandma.
So here was the last ditch thing. Was I was going to go ahead and just go on the trip and ruin it for both, for all parties, And then she said, "No, I already gave it away to a neighbor." And I was like, "How is that even? It's like halftime bingo. How? You explain to me how that's halftime bingo. You fucking, It's like she went from." It's like if you were playing a slot machine with somebody and splitting the slot, and then they hit on Keno later, and you're like, "Oh, cool, we're still partnered up," So, no. So I killed her lawn. I felt much better about everything. I watched the game, and then it's like I said, though, it's like the greatest game in college basketball history. So I'm sitting on the cushion. It took me years to be able to do that.
You're finally in a place mentally where you're able to sit on.
I'm starting to. I went back to the Bible listening spot today and listened again about on Genesis, and then I'm thinking maybe I was a dick because I did what kind of like happened to. I don't know. I didn't listen that much.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what in Genesis you could be drawing an analogy to.
It was a Bible quiz about
Moses.
It was a Bible quiz about what happened in Sodom, and that's always funny. And when you heard that,
yeah.
Sodom, and it was fun. A lot of people lived in that town and butt fucked. And
I think I think the lesson there is don't look back. So I don't think you should be worried about that.
I agree.
That whole casserole thing. I think that's in your past, and you don't want to turn into a pillar of salt. So just keep moving.
And I've used it since then too, casserole, and spelled out words in people's lawns. It's fun,
Like what?
I went pedo because I didn't. It's like, man, I don't want to. It's like a lot of letters, and I'm standing on this guy's lawn a long time. That was for my 5th grade teacher, Mr. Havers. So if ped, it might have even said ped because I ran out.
That's like. Do you remember there was an old episode of, well, I guess they'd all be old episodes at this point, Gilligan's Island, where there was the Apollo rocket was going to be going right over the island. This professor had figured it out. And so they were going to make a message for the astronauts to see. And they spelled out SOS and logs and Gilligan. Of course, they give Gilligan, the worst person for the job of lighting the logs on fire. And of course, he fucking does something and messes up the order of the logs. And he lights them, and it ends up the astronauts are going over, and they look down, and the one astronaut hits the other one, and he goes, "Hey, Saul, look, they're paying tribute to you." And he looks down, and it's SOL in big flaming letters on the island. He's like, "Oh, that's real nice," and they keep going. Ped.
Yeah. I think that the problem there, Andy, just in case you're gonna do another casserole revenge run, you should really keep it down to 4 or 5 letters, because when you're spelling in the grass with little granules of casserole, you're gonna forget. If they're gonna curve, you're gonna run. You're gonna forget did I put the I in or the O yet?
Yeah.
It's like writing a magic, an invisible ink. Message. It's gone. You gotta remember everything you wrote.
I would imagine since you have to wait for it to rain to activate it anyway, you might get a little running. It kind of makes a casserole font.
Right.
Like creepy letters in Halloween.
Comes out completely different on the other end. I didn't go back to examine any of that. It's probably better to spray it with Roundup with a stencil. But I don't,
So a handwriting expert can't come back and find that it's Andy?
I can't imagine another situation where I'd have to do some landscape revenge, But sometimes you just do something shitty because it feels right. And it did. It felt right. And it still feels right. Like you said, I'll look back. I'll turn into salt if I look back and go, that was a shitty thing to do to fat Kathy who stabbed half of that fucking prize by sharing.
Yeah, she didn't even win it. First of all, she didn't even win it. She was the tag along to start with, and then she ended up with both tickets, and then she gives one of those tickets away and not back in the direction of the original tickets came from. Fuck that.
Right. Yeah.
What I love here is the beginning.
Kathy. Casper on that bitch.
Yeah.
Andy said
I'll go kill her lawn again.
This is none of my business. And it's like 90% of your stories, it's none of your business. This one was your business, Andy.
Yeah.
You had your family won those tickets and someone else cobbled in.
Yeah. And it was a fucking big giant woman. You know? It's like, enough. You take everything. You take a little more of everything. It's obvious,
She probably sat on that cushion before she gave it to you.
Wait, did she give it to you or did you steal it?
No, I inherited it. When my mother-in-law died, she had a few fentanyl patches and she had this cushion. Those were the things
got the cushion and brought it back from the Final Four and gave it to your mother-in-law as a gift, a thank you gift.
A
Right.
used ass cushion.
And
Nice.
you ended up with it. I think that's sweet justice, though.
That's nice.
Fucked up her
Right.
lawn, and you got the cushion she tried to give to your mother-in-law.
I'll
Don't
tell
forget
you
the
what.
fentanyl.
There was a big fat ass sitting on this cushion at the greatest game in college basketball history, and it could have been mine.
It's like a piece of the big monster wall or whatever that thing was called.
She probably had two cushions because her ass was so big. I mean, it literally, she took up. That's why my mother-in-law was extremely skinny, and Kathy was extremely fat. And at the old basketball stadium, the seats were cut that way, so a fat person could pour into another person's seat, and that's how they got to be friends, I guess. Hey, you fit.
Like protein molecules fitting together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta like. Sometimes I think I do bad things, and then it's like, no, I do bad things, but for good reasons.
Oh no, I think that's true. I think you're like the Dexter of misdemeanor level of fuckery and vandalism. Shenanigans. That's the word.
You definitely put the time in where most of us might fantasize about doing something.
Yeah.
You actually go out and get it done, and I admire it, Andy.
Well, cameras are making it tougher and tougher for guys like me.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna light up some of this weed here.
All right.
I decided to look at the labels on my gummies before podcasting, and a couple of them do say hybrid. They're definitely indicas. So I'm on a hybrid.
Yeah, but I thought that was really truly all bullshit. That there's really no difference between sativas and indicas, and basically some stoner at the fucking plant smokes it and decides which one he thinks it is.
That's 100% true, Erickson. There is no indica or sativa. That's the thing. It's all about genetics. I even have an expert here hanging out with me today. I'll jump out if nobody believes me. He can jump in and explain it.
It's not Inman, is it?
I was hoping it was going to be his dog.
Yeah.
That's how high he is.
I just like the idea of bringing in expert fucking opinionists into the Issues with Andy show all of a sudden.
Yeah. Anderson Cooper.
Well, we were discussing Douglas Fudge the other day, and I think some erroneous information may have been disseminated.
Local Howard Taft historian has phoned the podcast.
Yeah, I don't claim to be a William Howard Taft expert. I claim to be a William Howard Taft enthusiast. There's a difference.
There is a difference.
An expert doesn't necessarily show up at his grave with fruitcakes.
An expert goes on CNN. An enthusiast goes on a podcast.
I thought you were going to say an enthusiast watches that expert on CNN.
And then gets everything wrong.
Yeah, and remembers it wrongly. Oh. Yeah, I took a gummy today too.
What's your brand? Cranberry? Current?
Yeah, California.
Oh.
Had those.
I don't know what the brand is.
They're
only 10 milligrams, though. That's a perfect amount for me.
I didn't take a gummy, but I have, however, smoked most people's weekly allowance of weed already today.
Yeah, I've been burning through weed a lot. That's one thing I realized. This is without other stuff going on. It's like, oh, I thought I smoked weed to go do stuff. You know, it turns out I just smoke weed. I took like an 8 to go take pictures of birds this morning, and I didn't get any pictures of birds. I did go. I walked in there this morning to that place, and the geese took off with the babies, and then an egret took off, and then that was pretty much the end of it. So, but the other day, while I'm sitting right here, a fucking blue heron shows up and on my neighbor's roof, and like a blue heron back here. It's like there's no water near here. it's fucking lost. It's like that Hedberg.
Taking a break.
Duck, I didn't know ducks went downtown, and it's a blue heron hanging out, and it was like, oh, I got my fucking camera right here. This is the moment me and my mom stood in swamps for in seventh or seventh.
We're trying to get that science project
to get a picture of
never got a picture.
And then it's like, there's my fucking camera right here. And then it's
maybe that was your mom coming back to visit you in the spirit of a blue heron to check on you. Come to the roof.
I'm a
ghost enthusiast. I really think that's what happened.
I was wearing a wig.
A lot of indica gummies, so that might be where that comes from.
Andy, tell me you got a picture.
I did. I got a pic. Yeah, but it was like, oh, you fucking cunt. And then I was like, it was it's like, you don't even want to move because these guys are so fucking, they do not like having their picture taken after shows, before shows. They do not like it. You got to have a long lens or you got to be fucking still. And you got to be there first or they'll fucking not do it. They're like, fuck this. So, yeah, I reached over and it took off. And I grabbed my camera and caught it in mid-flight.
And got a picture of your feet.
Yeah. I know. I got a good picture of the blue heron, and then today and then that was like yesterday, and then to be greedy this morning, I'm like, I'm gonna go get them eagle pictures, and I took some raw chicken, and put it on the rocks, and I realized that at the end of it, after an hour and a half, because I did this before, and I baited a bald eagle down to the beach, and it grabbed this chicken, and I got a blurry picture.
Andy, that's illegal, right? You can't.
What? I gotta cook it. I put that chicken out. I put that chicken out for common Canadian geese. I can't help endangered species show up. Like Canadian, not geese. How
do you know what I'm hunting for, officer? I'm trying to get some frogs.
Anyway, yeah, you can't do that, huh? Yeah.
You can do whatever you want, Andy.
I'm out of the game now. I threw the chicken in the water, but when I did it at the beach, what happened was seagulls kind of made a big fucking ruckus about it, and they announced to the eagle that there was chicken on the rock, and it was so come and get it. But there was no seagulls to announce. So I did see the hawks or the eagles fly overhead, and they're like, "Fuck that!" looks like a couple of.
I think it's like an Admiral Akbar situation.
Yeah. The eagles like, fuck that. That looks like illegal chicken. That's illegal baiting down there, man. I'm not falling for that shit.
There's not a lot of chickens that pluck themselves and skin themselves.
I mean, an eagle wouldn't even be able to recognize that. He's like, oh, that looks like a chicken breast down there frying away on that rock in the clear open.
You know I'm a white meat bird.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. Sick of them thighs.
Andy was using turkey vulture bait. Andy was using turkey vulture bait for eagles.
Yeah.
Oh, they like snakes. Raw chicken's just a little different.
When I was in high school, we had a buddy who Van Shunda, and his older brother, which that's always there's trouble coming when you're hanging out with the older brother. And he was going out in a field and get a little piece of like chicken wire and put like a little dome, and then put a mouse inside of it, a live mouse, and then have a bunch of monofilament loops on the top, and then stake that to the ground and put it out in the field. And a red-tailed hawk would come down and then get caught in the thing, and then now what?
You must have got some great pictures, huh?
Well, what happened was, they ended up taking it to the house, and Van Shunda came to school the next day with scratches and shit. His brother had put it in the closet, but didn't tell anyone. There was a red-tailed hawk in the closet.
Wow.
And he went and opened the door and it came out at him and it was fucking insane. They were trying to capture a red-tailed hawk to train it. In the 70s, when there's no internet, you'd have to go to a library and read. No one's going to do that.
Lesson 1.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of trial and error when you're just going to do it yourself with a bird act.
Well,
but the point is, Andy, they used the actual food that the raptor was looking for, and that was a mouse running around, even in a little tiny little cage.
Eagles got to see movement if they're not going to.
Not the fillet of a mouse.
You were more on target with the stealing a chicken from the neighbor.
Exactly.
Right.
Plan.
Yeah.
Look at Andy's head. The wheels are spinning.
I'll be right back, guys. I need
I mean,
Andy's doing that in his head.
It's just too much effort. You know, I don't care.
All you have to do now is get the Eagles to come with you to the chicken coop.
Yeah.
You know, follow me.
Follow the blue heron. Follow the blue heron. There was blue herons out there. I was like, just follow them over to my place. It's in the South Hills. You know, you guys can chill. I'll cook the chicken. You know, if you want, we can barbecue it. You know?
Like the end of Silence of the Lambs.
There'll be a bunch of.
He's cooking, but he's actually cooking what he's gonna eat.
I'll get some reptiles for the turkey buzzards and fry up some chicken for the eagles. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, all right.
And the angel of death will soon be upon us.
That's not the best catchphrase for a party, best theme for a party, but it's not the worst. So
I mean, you'll get some people
probably work with that. Some people will be there.
Oh,
The snakes will show up for sure.
Probably the lady who pumps Bible fucking music on a quiet river spot.
Oh yeah, she'll be there.
I do want to kind of fucking ruin. I would, you know, I don't know. If there was a lawn on my in my future, it would be hers. But that's old school, you know. Yeah, she's got roosters and she's got chickens, and I need bait. You know, it is a natural progression of thought and crime. You know, I jerked off across from her.
The whole thing's a trap to catch people, man.
Yeah, I know.
They got loud religious music playing, and then a bunch of live animals just waiting for crazy Oregonians to fucking come sneaking in there to try to steal shit, and then they're gonna convert you.
This is the new Rob Zombie movie, I think. Actually described.
I think, Andy, you have your icebreaker.
Running.
Yeah.
Your icebreaker is you go over to the chicken lady and go, "Hey, we're kind of know each other. I listen to your music and look at your property while I jack off next to the geese."
Well, no, I was thinking you were gonna say I have a trained red tail.
Well,
hey, hi, and then the hawk flies at her face, and then I go shut her power off and get rid of them speakers.
Ooh, Andy, what's in the pillow sack?
You know what happened to Lot's wife when she looked back? She turned to salt.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's not true, but that is what the story says.
That's just.
But what did Abraham see was brimstone, and it was like I was carrying. Well, I don't know if it was brimstone, but I was carrying rock, and they said brimstone, and I was like, motherfucker. What is going on here, man?
I don't think you were carrying brimstone, first of all.
Yeah. Well,
what even is brimstone?
Yeah.
I think that's a made-up thing.
I think brimstone is like lava rock. Very porous.
Well, there was fire and brimstone.
Yeah,
it
I
was
think
raining
that's
down
why.
on the sodomites because they were, you know, it was like God said, the pussy, man, the pussy. And then he comes back and everybody's butt fucking, and it's just
wrong hole.
Yeah.
That's the chapter of that Bible.
It ruined God's day. Well, he just had lunch.
If I remember right, at one point Andy said that while he was nature jacking, the music kept getting louder. And I only interpreted that as Andy thought maybe it was some sort of spiritual thing, but I thought maybe the lady saw him and was trying to drive him out, and that's the only way she knew how. Get out of here, you evil man!
It's also it's also the high notes of that song, and the ladies. As I don't think that I don't think anybody cares. It's just pumped in there 24/7.
So weird.
I would.
Wait,
but
it never stops. It never stops.
Never. No, it's never a guy
Maybe
who.
She's dead.
I saw.
It's just the cats are eating her face, and they just keep playing Hallelujah over and over.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be something. But I saw somebody moving, but that walking around. It looked like an old lady, but it could just be her son with her, her wig on.
Skin face mask.
Got to keep playing mother's music. Inspirational message through the coronavirus.
Hey, I looked it up. Brimstone. The definition is sulfur.
There you go.
So.
Oh, okay. Sulfur's real.
Why didn't they just say sulfur? I don't fucking know. No one ever told me in chemistry class. Now get your brimstone.
Well,
Show me brimstone on the periodic table of elements.
Exactly.
Smells like brimstone in
brimstone.
Here. Did somebody die?
Sorry, I was hot boxing brimstone.
Did Satan just fart in here?
Wow, so brimstone's bullshit, huh? Fake news.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said at all.
Well, it's just an exaggerated term for something simple.
That's my Trump ability to understand. So this brimstone's supposed to cure coronavirus. You just take it with a...
I didn't say ingest it. I said let it rain down upon you, like it says in the good book.
Take that with a grain of salt, but that's what Law told me.
I like the idea of Andy knocking on someone's door and saying, "Listen, I've been jacking off to your yard for years, and I just gotta say."
Can you spare a chicken?
I got the ultimate picture I want to share with you. Okay. Now look past it's a dick picture. And if you look past that just a little bit, you'll see the eagle landing on the raw chicken. It's the perfect dick pic. That's what I'm aiming for. Bald eagle swooping down on the raw chicken, and my dick's out, and it looks like the eagle's landing on my penis, but it's really the drumstick.
You got to uncross your eyes like one of the magic eye things. You can't really see the eagle until you really look through it.
Yeah. And then I get it all set up, and the eagle lands, and I got my camera on it. It's not on the camera setting. It's on music.
Your camera has a music setting?
I don't know. Maybe. Hey, it's the future, man. That's what I got a good video of my mother. She was in the throes, or she was struggling with addiction to dementia at the time. So we were really losing her to her addiction to dementia. But she said, she goes, they have phones that you can take pictures with. And I go, I know, Mom, I'm videotaping you right now. Wig toss, man. Remember those things you used to call walking around phones? Yeah. Yep. Now they take pictures.
Is that what they called it? Is that what your parents called cell phones?
That's what my mom called it, yeah. I inherited my mom's stupid. She mangled words and said, she didn't think things through. And
a colorful way with the language.
Yeah, she would combine things, fuck thoughts up, and
Sniglets.
Yeah.
You get a call from Rich Hall?
Yeah. Hey, Mrs. Andrews. It's my thing.
Yeah.
A copyright strike from Rich Hall.
She got fired a lot. And I haven't worked a lot, but when I did, I got fired. So, you know, there were no good breakups. Just like that. Yeah.
Never got the
2-week
watch.
notices.
Yeah, no. But it was the mill jobs were usually pretty end of the summer ended and I was done. But one mill I got fired in, and I was ready. I was ready to go. You know, I was like cut out. Like, you know how you drink Epicac syrup to throw up at work. I did that, so I like got the weekend off. You know, and I come back on Monday, and the foreman, who I didn't respect at all, you know, like, he was my Jerry Krause and I was Scottie Pippen of the line. I did not care for this guy, and he's like, hey man, what are you doing here? And I was like, I was like, I had my lunchbox. It's like, isn't it obvious, you know, here to work. And he goes, you got fired on Friday. And I go, no, I didn't get fired on Friday. I got sick on Friday, and I didn't work on Saturday because anyway. And he had an eye patch. The cool thing was this guy had an eye patch on
Saturday.
He had an eye patch on that he didn't have on ever before. So he was firing me and he had an eye patch. And then at some point I was just like, you know, it's like, you know, all right, I know this is over. So, you know, when you know the relationship's over, you can really say some shitty things.
Yeah. Do we get to find out why he was wearing the eye patch?
No, I didn't find out.
You didn't ask him that?
I told him I hope it fucking hurt, and I told him he was an idiot. And he gave me an analogy once of like when I missed wood on the green chain. It was like if I worked at a grocery store and I stepped on boxes of cereal. So I think I remember it.
As happens to everybody who works.
Yeah, like that was an analogy. Right, like you're just like, you know, the analogy was, okay, I'm wasting, or, you know, but it's like, well, there's three other people who can also, you know, prevent me from stepping on that box of cereal and it being a waste. So, but I told him what a fucking loser he was, and I hoped his eye hurt when he lied. And I go, that thing you said about cereal boxes, fuck you kind of, and he's like, he's gonna call security.
You brought the cereal box analogy back for the
I held on to everything. I held on to everything,
man.
It was a loose ship, man. It was the worst job I ever had. I worked green chain before in a mill.
But yeah, what's that?
That's where it's a hard work. It's like skilled labor if you can grasp that in a mill. Like, you have to sort shit, and it's like athletic sort of. You have to sort the wood after it's cut into little pieces into a cart and stack them.
That's the first thing. The first thing is that you haven't even said yet is that it takes place at the mill.
At a timber mill.
I thought he was talking about a grocery store.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
So
I'm back on board.
So they cut a log, and then they cut the log, and then it goes into little thing, and then you sort it out. But I was like, this mill, and I worked mills before, but this was like, okay, college isn't having me anymore, you know. They said enough's enough with the student loans, you know. Like, you know, 7 years of college is up. 7 years of college, and all I got is a 2-year degree. This is bullshit, you know. What am I paying for, you know?
What are you not paying for? You were on a scholarship.
It's like a scholarship.
Well, every loan is like a scholarship if you don't pay it back.
Sure.
Yeah, that came up, you know, years later. You know?
Tends to happen that way. You work at the mill.
You're
sorting the pieces are getting cut, and they're coming at you to cut, and you're sorting those cut pieces.
Yeah, you sort them into the things, and then there's
based on what?
The shit term, the scrappy pieces of wood are fishtails, And then there's different length cuts, and you sort them out, But fishtails are kind of squirrely fucking things to grab, It's like the beginning of a log, the end of the log where there's rot.
You got to get those out of there.
They're fucked, and I didn't like to grab them. But there was a mute. There was a chain where there was a guy. Yeah, but my job was I'd rather grab the better wood.
But to be clear, that is the one thing they had you on there for, was to pull out the fishtails.
But this mill was a bunch of fucking all the people at this mill were like fucking losers, like
clearly.
But here was the problem. I was
nobody
no
wanted
longer,
to grab a bunch of fish.
It's like that Rod Stewart song, "Wake Up Maggie." I wanted to be back in school, and I was at the mill in the fall pulling shit, and it was a shit mill. And there was a mute who worked across from me, and he, how mutes, they shouldn't talk. They shouldn't.
I think mute. I think it's that they can't talk, right?
Well, they shouldn't make noise. And this guy,
they shouldn't attempt it. You're saying?
All right, yeah. This guy This guy honked like a goose, and he would fucking get mad at me, and he would make fucking all red faced and make a fishtail. That was make a fishtail sign. Yeah, like I'm missing fishtails, and it was a bad deal. And then there was this other dude. He was a fucking fat, fancy Dan at the time. I didn't know what his problem was. Now I know his old man raped him probably, and he was just out of his mind. But he would try to talk to me across the chain and say all this inane bullshit of how he used to be fucking a jet setter, just like fucking lie after lie and shit. And it was just total madness. And then this guy fucking Howard Cook would come around and tell me things like, the mute, was mad at me and I was ruining cereal boxes. And, I was like, fuck this shit. I'm going to a Bryan Adams concert. I got to throw up on somebody, which is a trick I'd done successfully before. And I got the weekend off.
Did you carry Epicac with you in case you needed to throw up on demand? Or
yeah, those little suicide bite pills at the CIA had.
No, I brought the first time I did it.
A spy.
The first time I did it, I was I didn't know what was going to play out, and I threw up.
That's the really thrilling one.
Yeah, that's when I threw up.
You always remember your first.
Yeah, you always remember the first foreman you throw up on. That was Hoot Looney. That was his name. Hoot Looney.
Looney. No, it wasn't. No, it was not his name.
He went to church.
We have reached Sniff Riddlin levels.
Yeah, no, Looney and Sniff Riddlin were friends at church.
Of course they were. They were buddy team in a cartoon.
Sniffer, Sniffer was a nickname. Hoot was an actual given name. And who didn't like my antics on the line? And I told him I was sick, and he goes, "Get a drink of water." And then I was like, "I got a drink of water." And then he's like, "You feel better?" And then I threw up on his feet, and he sent me home. Well, when I did it at the other mill, I guess I got worse at it because I didn't get sick till I told him I was sick, and then that was where there was a misunderstanding, and he thought. In his meth-addled mind that he'd fired me, and I just went home because I was sick. But I got sick later that day. Like I did the Epicac syrup, and it's I don't know, maybe it was a different dose. But
wait, you didn't throw? Did you threw up in front of them and got the day off?
I didn't. Well, I thought I was like sick, and I go, I'm going. I was like, I can't even wait to get sick.
Wait, you took Epicac to get sick, to get out of work, but then you left before it took effect and got fired, and then threw up anyway later. So then he came back on Monday and claimed that since he threw up later, he was sick, and therefore the firing doesn't count. It might even be moot. And for that reason,
I don't know that the mute had anything to do with the firing.
I'm still hired here.
the mute had nothing to do with the actual firing, but I couldn't work with the guy at all, and he didn't want to work with me either.
God.
He kept honking at me, and it's like disapproval. Like he would say, like, he's gonna cut my throat. Are you gonna cut my throat? You fucking cunt. I had a
Plus,
shitty attitude.
At a mill and with the whole lumberjack thing, I would think that just throwing up doesn't get you out of work. It's like
These were the
you got to
this-
throw up.
The guy with one arm going, what do you think you can't work? What are you talking about?
Well,
I'm catching all the fishtails. Look at you, I got one hand.
about 3 months after I left. Oh, this was another thing. Is he had a serious, like, he gave us these hats. It's like a trucker hat that said DPV the best, Douglas Pacific Veneer the best. And I came in with it, and I forget what I did. I either had feathers hanging off of it, or I somehow made a mockery of a trucker hat. If you can imagine, if you could do that,
Did anyone tell?
Yeah. So I also mocked the DPV the best hat. I go, the best is like the best of what, like, is there like a soft there's no way to gauge it. It's just a mill full of miscreants and fucking high school dropouts. And there's no way to say we're better than that other mill of, output wise, we suck or whatever. So I didn't get
I love it. Andy, you started this by saying you had a skilled job at the mill. And Adam, you just said that it's miscreants and we were horrible.
Well, the jobs.
So where was the skill part?
Well, compared to feeding a dryer or there's some jobs where you just kind of stand there and do shit like this. At least the green chain, you worked up a sweat and you weren't fat at the end of the summer. Yeah, it was actually, yeah. And then I got good at it, and then I got good enough that I could get bad at it.
I like that at the end you said there's no way to gauge which is a good mill or a bad mill. But aside from the fact that that's exactly what capitalism is doing at all times.
You look out in the yard. That's all you have to do.
Literally count the pieces of wood. Board feet. Hey, I'm sorry.
That's why
there's just no way to gauge who's doing good at this and who isn't.
We're making no money. If there was just one way that we could probably gauge whether we're doing the right thing or not, but there's no money coming in, guys. I don't know what it is.
Well, has somebody got paperwork going on this stuff? Is there something we can look at? What's happening behind the scenes?
Bottom line, or whatever. But this place is I think he meant like an overall, we should feel like we're the best at this thing. And it was like, I hated everybody at that place, and I hated myself more. So, I couldn't really get into the mute or the weird fancy Dan with he'd paint his nails up and go like what, man? And he goes like, hey, and then it's hard to hear across from the thing. And then I'd get the gist of it. It was like, he left a bunch of furniture in storage in some other country because he's like, you want to work with your old man who was this man who worked up.
Oh, shit.
God damn it.
The boy was.
All right, let's add the parts in ourselves. So I think the old man is going to be the brother of the mute guy.
Mute, yeah. No, Fancy Dan.
The mute guy who hoots is actually related
I got to get
guy
close to my
Hoots.
router. Go ahead.
Oh shit!
I love that there's a character that works at a mill grabbing fishtails or whatever named Fancy Dan, and that paints his nails. I thought it would be the other way. There'd be like the bouncer called Tiny that's as big as a house.
Yeah.
Fancy Dan would be the slovenly dude who hasn't changed his underpants in 6 months.
He looked like a guy who, the story I got through, this guy I worked with there, that he was the one I would smoke with weed, and he was a hothead or whatever, and he had guns and shit. So I didn't really bond with him, but we smoked weed on the breaks or whatever. And he told me he told me that the old man raped his kid, and his kid was fucking, and that was why he was such a nutty fuck, I guess. the deal, so I was like, man, it's hard to get motivated to go to work on a Monday, to go there anyway. So when I was fired, I was like, okay, this is good news, actually.
I would assume that you would be like, well, what kind of a fucking excuse is that? Every single person I know has been fucked by somebody.
Right. Yeah.
I don't understand why that's an excuse.
Talk about
a shame.
Just throw up and get back to work.
Well, I don't know that it was going on at the mill or whatever, but it was like, I got perspective.
Wipe your ass and get back on the job, man.
Listen, I'm only talking to you because I'm waiting for this Ipecac syrup to kick in.
Once I got fired, though, here's where I got sick, though, is I went over to my brother who lived in town there, who lived at a mortuary, and he had, he was there, and he had a dead guy on the slab he was like, this guy kind of looked like Abe Lincoln, and he goes, you remember so-and-so? He worked at the post office in Coquille. It's like my belly hurts and stuff, and I'm like stopping by there, and it's like I'm not sure I'm gonna throw up or anything. And then he shows me this guy's dick. Like I didn't. That's when I went and vomited profusely, effectively. It's like I didn't remember him at the post office, but he did look like Abe Lincoln, and he had a big dick or whatever. But I was like, man, okay, well now I'm okay with nausea now.
I got lost in that story.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. I just didn't know if it was really going to be that. But hey, was he just put on the slab at the moment?
He was naked on a slab.
But had they started working on him?
He had to. John. That wasn't even his. They just prepped him, so they were just prepping him. Or formaldehyde. So,
they just let people
or whatever.
walk in to where they're prepping a body for mortuary,
he ran a loose ship. John was the right guy. He was checked. He was checked. I guess he got checked
on the green chain get to walk through. Those green chain guys.
I'm a skilled laborer. I've seen it all. I'm skilled labor.
Yeah.
You call that a dick?
It's amazing how how seeing a dead dude's cock will make you fucking vomit when you're already half a belly full of poison or whatever that.
Work poison.
Yeah, that, and if you're if you do need some time away,
Andy, I got a question about the dead guy's dick.
It didn't. Yeah.
When he's laying there, and they did the reveal, they pull the thing up, and I assume you went down to the dick pretty quick, just because it seemed to affect you. Was it tied off? Did they have anything tied?
No, it could have been tied to his left leg like a holster.
No, not like a holster.
I was my first thought was, what a shame. My first thought was, what a shame. It's like I had a small dick and this guy's going out with a fucking champ. I was like,
talk about blasted.
But then I was like, oh no.
The reason I asked, Andy, not that it's a leg strap, but I've heard that in mortuary science, they get like dental floss or something, and they tie the dick so if any fluids don't expel when they cut the carotid and pump in the formaldehyde.
I would assume he had just gotten delivered there because I was working the morning shift and he was down there, and John's probably undressed the dude. And he's like, had a towel over him. And then he was like, and then I showed up unexpectedly. So John was probably just, I don't know, that's between John and his God and a dead man.
You remember this guy from the post office? Look at his dick.
But before he revealed, he knew he had a big dick or whatever. But he was like, And it's like I don't remember him from the post office because I don't know. I mean, I didn't pay attention down there.
Because the next time you saw him, that memory was permanently erased from your mind. That's why.
Right. Hey, do you remember this guy? He used to make sandwiches at Dairy Queen. Oh no, But I was in my 20s, so I was like, I don't, but he was like, he gave me a little, he worked there at the Coquille post office, and he was dead, and he had a big dick. Oh, what a waste. I doubt he got much use out of it.
I don't think he got a lot of post office pussy.
It's like, find it. It's like the librarian. Oh, look at the snapper on that dead librarian. Oh, jeez. She's 90, but her pussy looks like it's 18. That book's never been cracked open.
I don't know where the criteria would be of what you would show. You just whatever you found amusing. You remember this? He worked at the Pizza Hut. Look at his butthole. I don't know. I don't want to look at that.
Yeah. I did. I was and then the one time I was there and I was like cracked open. There's a casket. Like thinking, it's empty. No, it ain't. It's like
once again, Andy, none of your business. Yeah. None of your business. Here we go.
Should you assume a casket's empty? That's just a philosophical question. If you come upon one,
and then the next thought is, they're just gonna bury him with that jewelry. Shit.
You could maybe move some of that jewelry with Larry's necklace during the yard sale.
Yeah.
Well, so this was a family heirloom for a while. Is my grandpa? He wasn't my real Larry Doran was his name, and he married my grandma late in the game, and they used to live in Death Valley because I think they were both batshit crazy drunks. And Larry Doran, he was the other Larry. He was Grandpa Larry. He's a fucking asshole. I forgot my point.
He's your step grandpa.
Yeah. That doesn't do it. Whoa. Okay, that might have been a hybrid indica with a little kick of speed.
Hey everyone, welcome to After Show Andy. Had a good time at the Issue Andy podcast. Want to welcome all of you sticking around.
1 o'clock on the dot.
I was just gonna say it. We are at the 1 hour mark exactly.
Yeah.
I saw the light. Shaley. I see the light.
If you're new here and you didn't see the previous hour, it would help in what's happening next, but it's really not necessary. It's going to meander.
Yeah.
Grandma,
meandering.
I did a smart thing after I made my tequila drink. Where is it? There it is. I was coming back because I stepped away, but I heard this. I had the speakers on, so I could hear Andy telling the story. And as I got back, I went to take a drink, and as I'm starting to take a big pull, I thought to myself, "Is this smart?" Because I hear the story ramping up, and I remember Erickson 2 weeks ago did a spit take all over the screen, and I just pulled it down when he went into the fucking thing, and so you got to time it.
He stuck the landing. He stuck the landing.
Oh yeah, that's lucky, man. Days off. Oh,
yeah, I'm getting all lax because I'm one more amenity run from being done here with this yard. I can
kicking in.
Yeah, I can hang myself and go, fuck, there's not another thing I would do here.
You're gonna see right when you drop, you're gonna see a bunch of rocks that are supposed to be on one side of a border, but they're spilled over into the grass, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, mother, fix it!" And then too late, man.
I'll start toe dancing back up the hill. One more hosta. I could put another hosta here. There's another hosta.
They're fighting it.
I could steal one more hosta.
I guess Mishka must have watched some podcasts, or somebody told him we were giving him some ribbing because he's doing some sort of thing that he always has done. I like that this is the new society that we live in, is where you do something completely cringeworthy, and when somebody calls you out on it, you just double down.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot,
Yeah.
Trump.
Yeah. I know. Yeah,
True.
he's like he's gonna post a shirtless picture of himself every day for 30 days, and then he starts off with bestiality.
That's okay. Good. I'm glad you said that, because that's the first picture that he's posted.
Yeah.
It
That's
just came up in the
Tried not to
feed.
look at it.
yeah. I mean, where do you go from there? It's like
Baby calf. They
I know
suckle
one
me
time
with no teeth.
I was like at a petting thing, and I was handing pellets to a goat through mouth to mouth with a goat, and it's funny.
Come on, man.
But it's like,
Now we're at that point Shaylee was just talking about, where you don't need to have heard the first 60 minutes of the show. You are now
man, this
caught
is
up.
gonna lead to another goddamn picture search. But it was funny. It was like my daughter's birthday party, and then I was like kissing the llama, or making out with goats.
You were going for laughs for your daughter's friends at her
with
party.
Mouth to mouth with a llama?
Well, back then there was no
Straight out with the
coronavirus
llama.
19 around. It was
You're
just
over on
fun.
Corona 1.
So I just hand the pellet, and then, but it's it's like whenever it's like you can be drunk or whatever, or having a good time, and it's like all of a sudden something's pulling on your lips or whatever, or making you got to make a decision, and that's what Mishka has. His cat's licking him, and the cat keeps licking him. I have a cat that'll sucks on a blanket. I could put that blanket anywhere and the cat would still work it. And you don't cross those lines, but Mishka apparently crosses those lines and has his underage girlfriend videotape it and put it up online,
Yeah.
I didn't get that at first.
When we first started making fun of him, it was because it was a ridiculous, needy thirst trap thing he was doing,
Well,
and now it's become legitimately gross.
I'll
It's
tell
a
you,
cry for help.
whenever that popped up in my notifications, the very first thing I thought was, well, what the fuck good does it do to mute somebody? And
that.
then I realized
video
if they tag you in.
Wait a minute. Ironically, that's also what the mute guy was trying to say to Andy. He just couldn't find the words. It was like, what good does it do to mute somebody?
Ooh!
Oh, man.
Oh man, he was at a different mill, but he could have been trying to tell me to listen to what Hoot said. What Hoot said.
That's what Hoot said.
Yeah. Well, there was this other guy. Fuck. What was his name? Doy, and Doy always come around and say shit like, "Are you gonna work hard or just stand around?" And I go, "Oh, all right."
There's a choice. You get
Yeah.
an option.
Yeah, you gonna get some work done or just stand around? And I'm like, yeah, all right, And then it's like, you got to be way more specific. It's like, he just wanted you to look busy. That was his thing. But he was like, he's like trying to motivate you, and then I would say something like, "Man, I didn't know they made pants the width and the length at the same." Like he was. I think it was 36 by 36 or some shit. He was like fucking.
He was a cube?
He's a fucking, he's a fat fucking dude. Weird. No, he was like dumpy, fat and dumpy, but he was like, it was just like fucking, it was like,
36 inseam isn't dumpy, Andy.
No, this guy was, no, I'm trying to think of what it was.
If your waist is 36.
He was 30.
But I mean, he's a tall guy at 36 inseam.
He was 36 by 36. Yeah, but he balled him up. So that's what it was. He was like, had little legs, but he'd roll up his Levi pants. So it's like, yeah, that's what it was. It was like,
it's because
I remember we made fun of him.
36 30s.
Yeah, right. It's like, but there was like,
We rolled
fucking,
up 6 inches of material on each leg.
they were fucking
He
characters.
could barely get his foot through it.
He's an optimist.
It's like a
Yeah.
sphincter.
You didn't end up in the mills because you had options,
Oh, for skilled labor. Yeah, it was tough
Yeah.
for skilled labor to
Yeah.
get those jobs.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah. If
His pants hung so far over.
Chad,
Lost you.
we lost you, man. We only got you at the end when this.
It's hard when you get
God
right to the
damn it.
punchline.
That might come through.
Tried.
No.
Hey, that's when you really feel not doing stand up.
yeah.
When you
I
can say that
tried.
punchline that you know is perfect, and then it turns out for all kinds of reasons nobody got it.
That's okay. I got a Zoom show at 2:00.
Are you doing something, Andy?
I'm doing a 15-minute. No, fuck no. I'm not. I don't even.
Oh.
I'm not even.
That's it.
Yeah, this is it, man. This is
Well,
the
we
end.
had-
Zoom
had
shows
that-
are
He's been
fucking
reduced
terrible.
to stealing bandwidth from the Jehovah's Witnesses.
Are you really stealing from God? Chad was on
No.
the podcast through Skype last, the one that went out on Monday, I think, and Brendan Walsh called in.
Nice.
No, that was on Monday with Brendan Walsh. That goes out today. So yeah, Doug's like all in now for audio or Skype. He actually prefers audio, and I think it's because it feels like a radio call in, which he's pretty good at. Any comic who's done road work knows how to do a radio call in. So
So he just looks away from the screen.
yeah.
Like the people who don't like, it's like you guys should just do a podcast. Like, well, don't watch it. It's just-
Yeah, they still
hard
want
for them to
audio.
understand.
Yeah.
I hate
it
those
was a little
closed
bit-
caption words. So turn them off.
It was a little bit weird only seeing Stanhope, but talking to everybody. That was a bit strange on this end for sure.
Yeah, I found a new program from a podcast that Doug and Shane did called Streamlabs, and it integrates with OBS
Yes.
to where I can put more than one picture on the screen.
Osama bin Laden can rot in hell.
Alright.
I don't get it.
I don't know. What'd you say? I thought you gave his initials.
OBS. No, you're thinking of MBS. You're thinking of
Osama.
MBS.
And
Osama
Osama bin Laden is
Mohammed
not
bin
OBS.
Salam, who is the king of
You see what
Prince
Osama
Osama
bin
bin
Laden's got a new
Oh.
video out.
OBS is open broadcast software.
Ah.
Shaylee's being a nerd.
Yeah, but then he was the guy yelling at a cloud. So how can you be both?
Service.
Wow.
Hey, photo
But I
bucket,
was
give me
trying to say-
give me back my photos.
I was informing Chad that I have a way to put multiple cameras into a stream that also has
Listen the
Skype
first
in it.
time. He didn't listen the first time. He's not going to listen this time either.
I'm listening. What do you mean?
What did he say?
Andy's
What
still
did he
just happy
say?
that he taped
What
down
did
his
he say?
microphone.
What did he say? What was Shaylee? What did Shaylee just tell Chad?
Hello, check. What am I gonna do when I run out of gaffer tape?
Oh, by then we'll have the Patreon up and we can have someone.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
what are you gonna do? That is
I'm
almost
waiting
ready
for
to
you
go.
to be done. Yeah, I'm waiting. Yeah, I'm waiting for you to be done with your 30 days so we can talk about it.
All right. Well,
You're
Wait,
almost-
we can't do that until his 30 days. Motherfucker.
well, it's tomorrow is the
It's only
30th day.
Yeah.
it's only
yeah.
a couple
I
days.
just Shaylee's been really busy.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I fucking blew off the last. Yeah, Doug's like, why don't we take hey, all right, we got Tuesday off. I go, not all of us have Tuesday off. I got I still got a 2 hour and 47-minute drunk dial podcast of him and Shane Gillis calling everyone they know at fucking 11 p.m. Pacific time. We're calling fucking East Coast, thinking someone's gonna answer the fucking phone, and it was nearly 3 hours, and I don't know. Doug's like, let's do that Patreon only. Like, that's fine because it ain't going out quick.
Look at Carrie Mitchell, everybody.
I just blew smoke in Carrie Mitchell's face.
See, I guess I was wrong.
Her.
I guess I was wrong when I told James Inman we can't have more than 4 people on the podcast because look, there was a 5th person.
Yeah.
So I stand corrected.
I'm just sick. You know, I don't like to criticize management, but it's like, God damn it, listen to me on this. James Inman's good on podcasts. You know, he's a Skyping wizard. You know, if there was a Skyping Best Buy, he would be there with the expert shirt on. You know, the guy knows his fucking angles. You know?
He certainly does.
He's the Larry Bud Melman of Skype.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I love that guy.
Calvin DeForest.
Yeah. I forget his story. Was he an actor before Letterman had him?
I don't remember.
I doubt it.
He was like that. How's your news?
When I went to one of the Hedberg tapings at Letterman, Larry Bud Melman was there, and he was in the green room. Green room at Letterman is really tiny, and they got a little camera or monitor feed from the stage. And I was the only reason I was in the green room, like the common green room. There's like an area where people hang out, and I was in Hedberg's dressing room, but there was a video feed, so I had a video camera. So I was taping the taping of the show on the monitor so that we could watch it after, because it was a Thursday taping when they did 2 shows. So it was going to be the Friday show. So we wouldn't be able to see it. We wanted to watch it that night. And it was fucking, I'm like this at the monitor doing it. But Larry Bud Melman's in there, and like there's 2 chicks like hanging all over him. And I'm like, I can't keep the thing straight. So I keep looking at him like fucking getting fucking action. I'm going, what the fuck is going on here? He was a fucking star, man.
Yeah.
I don't know where he came from either.
Wasn't Hedberg on Letterman once with Lou Holtz?
No, I don't know.
Because I know sometimes it's just like, it just made me happy to think that there was a green room somewhere that Hedberg and Lou Holtz were hanging out in. Yeah.
That Letterman in that theater, they had different green rooms. Like your dressing room was down a hall of a bunch of dressing rooms, so they wouldn't be sharing it.
Yeah, I think it was one of those situations where he taped something. It was on a different show or whatever. Tonight, Mitch Hedberg, Lou Holtz. Like, Jesus Christ!
Who's Lou Holtz?
Lou Holtz was a coach.
He has a lisp, and he's a Notre Dame coach, and he's great because he's fired up and he says stuff with a lisp, like Sylvester the Cat. Yeah, he gets fired up about teams and gosh darn it. You can imagine the camera gets wet when Lou Holtz is in the studio.
Oh shit. All right. I'm out of drink, so what do you guys think?
I've already had 3, so I probably should have more.
I feel like we did it.
Yeah, I got some editing to do.
All right. Beautiful.
I got some rock put in place.
Chad, you're coming over Friday, right?
Yes, sir. Let me know what time.
Yeah, we'll figure it out today when we everyone gets up and around.
And when's the last day?
I'm looking forward to it. That's Friday.
Tomorrow's the last day that is the 30th. Well, we're doing the rest of the month. We started on the 2nd. So the last day is on Thursday that we tape for release on Friday. And then Friday we'll do a May 1st show, which is Shane and I are going to get together, and hopefully he'll do it because I don't know what the fuck, but write out some things like some multiple choice and some surprises,
Guess the news and all that kind of shit.
You definitely got predictions. The Blink 182 guy.
Oh yes, I saw that one. Yeah, Tom DeLonge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's like fucking the guy's calling this alien stuff way back, or when was that? He had those videos he posted.
Well, let's see. When did he get kicked out of Blink 182? I don't know. We'll look on Wikipedia.
But he got kicked out of Blink 182 for being actually on the ball. It's like, like they tried to make him out to be Steven Adler, and it's like, turns out the tin foil turned out to be something this time. Guys actually fucking on top of it. But that's a slow news week when fucking aliens show up.
The guitar player from Blink 182 found UFOs. If that's one of the headlines you guessed did happen in the contest, that's got to have long odds on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I wrote down. That's what I wrote down yesterday. I still have my booklet of quotable quotes from
Smash Mouth just came up with new end of the world predictions.
Smash Mouth just discovered cold fusion.
Smash Mouth pens new national anthem for the United States of America.
Dixie's Midnight Runner discovers cure for cancer. Come on, Eileen. Eileen got breast cancer.
He tagged it with "Come on, Eileen."
That turned out to be the trick the whole time. You just had to come on Eileen.
Almost had the beer spit there.
Well, I think that was a pun, so that should be the end right there.
I hope so.
You guys, everybody knows the things to plug. Re-up for Chad's Twitch channel. And tune into this Doug Stanhope podcast and like and subscribe ours. We'll see you.
Later, guys.